الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإذ ابتلى إبراهيم ربه بكلمات فأتمهن قال إني جاعلك للناس إماما قال ومن ذريتي قال لا ينال عهد الظالمين صدق الله العظيم. Ayat number 124 of Surat Al-Baqarah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in this ayah, وَإِذِ ابْتَلَى إِبْرَاهِيمَ رَبُّهُ بِكَلِمَاتٍ فَأَتَمَّهُنَّ. Now remember the time, or important was the time when Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, he was tested by his Rabb بِكَلِمَاتٍ, with some words, meaning a few tasks, different types of tasks. فَأَتَمَّهُنَّ, and Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, he completed those tasks. He passed those tests. قَالَ إِنِّي جَاعِلُكَ لِلنَّاسِ إِمَامًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that he told Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, Inni ja'iluka linnasi imama, I'm going to make you an imam for mankind, a leader for mankind. قَالَ وَمِن ذُرِّيَّتِي. Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, he asked or requested, وَمِن ذُرِّيَّتِي, what about my offspring, what about my children? Will you also extend this privilege of imamat? Will you also extend this privilege of leadership of mankind to my children? قَالَ لَا يَنَالُ عَهْدِ الظَّالِمِينَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala responded to Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, لَا يَنَالُ عَهْدِ الظَّالِمِينَ, that this honor, this privilege of being an imam of mankind, this will not extend to the zalimeen, to those who commit oppression and dhulm. For the past few weeks, we have started the qissa and story of Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam. We have tried to cover as much detail as we could cover. In this qissa, in this story, we reached the point where Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, he was visited by a few malaika, by a group of angels, by 3 angels. One of them was Sayyidina Jibreel alayhi salam. There was Jibreel alayhi salam and 2 other angels. It was the custom of the Anbiya alayhim salam that they had the beautiful gift and beautiful character of hospitality. Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, he also had this gift of hospitality. He used to wait on the main road outside of the city. They did not have the system that they have today in this time and age of hotels and motels or Airbnb and whatever else is out there. Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam used to wait on the main road, on the main highway. And whenever some guest would pass, he used to entertain them for the night. This was around the evening time, Asr Salah time. He would entertain them for the night. So one of these days when he was staying or waiting on the road, on the main highway, these three men came. They were malaika, they were angels. Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, he did not know that they were malaika. He brought them home, he entertained them, he prepared a roasted calf, brought dinner for them. And when he reached for the food, he started eating. It was customary at that time, the host was to start the food, start eating. So the guest, if you didn't know him, you would not feel that you're trying to poison him. Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, he reached for the food, he started. But the malaika, they didn't reach for the food. And there was a custom at that time that if an assassin came to assassinate you or to kill you, so you would not partake of anything that you presented to him or presented to them. Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, he felt some fear. But the malaika told him not to fear, as they were there for a particular task. We have already gone over these details. One of those particular tasks was that they told Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, Inna ursilna ila qawmi Lut. We have been sent to qawmi Lut. And when they mention this, there are two narrations to this story, and both are correct. In the ayat of the Quran, one that they gave Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam two tasks that they were sent with. One was a bashara, a glad tiding that Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam was going to be blessed with another son at a very old age. And he was going to have a son with his first wife, Sarah radiyallahu anha. So this was a bashara, a glad tiding. The second piece of information that they came to give Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, the Malaika made it clear that they were angels. So the second piece of information was that they were sent to Qawm Lut. As a punishment, they were going to punish Qawm Lut. So Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, he started arguing with the Malaika about this. When this information was disclosed, the wife of Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, Sarah radiyallahu anha, she was behind the curtain, behind the veil, behind the hijab. When she heard this, she started laughing. فَضَحِكَتْ, he laughed. So there are two narrations. Either she laughed at the bashara, at the glad tidings, and she kind of pointed out that this is my husband, he's so old, he has gray hair. I'm old, we're beyond the age of children, now you're giving us the glad tidings of child. And the other part of the story that she laughed when she heard that Qawm Lut was going to be destroyed. And she thought, now, after such a long time, this decision has come. And these wicked people, they deserve to be destroyed. And now this adab has come. It is mentioned that she laughed on both occasions. But Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, when he heard the news that this qawm was going to be destroyed with a adab, with a punishment, so he immediately commented to the Malaika, قَالَ إِنَّ فِيهَا لُوطًا. He told the angels that Lut alayhi salam is in that qawm, in that nation. And Lut alayhi salam, he is the nephew of Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam. So Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, he told the angels, Inna fiha Luta. That in that poem there is Lut alayhi salam and his family. قالوا نحن أعلم بمن فيها. The Malaika, they said that we are very well aware and we know very clearly who is in that qawm, in that nation. We know all of the believers, we know everyone that is there. لَنُنَجِّيَنَّهُ وَأَهْلَهُ إِلَّا امْرَأَتَهُ كَانَتْ مِنَ الْغَابِرِينَ. They told Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam that we're going to save Lut alayhi salam, your nephew, and we're going to save his family, except for his wife, except for the wife of Lut alayhi salam. We're not going to save her. كَانَتْ مِنَ الْغَابِرِينَ. She's going to be of those who will lag behind, who end up being left behind because of her wicked a'mal. So Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, he started debating with the Malaika that maybe there are 100 people that believe in Lut alayhi salam. It's been such a long time. Lut alayhi salam was sent for a very long time to this qawm. The Malaika said there's not 100 believers. Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam said then maybe 90 believers. Malaika said no, there's not 90 believers either. Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam kept bringing the number down. When he got to 10, he said maybe 10 believers. They said no, not even 10 believers. He said 9, 8, 7, like this all the way down to 1. He said okay, there's one believer. Maybe one person has believed in Sayyidina Lut alayhi salam outside of his family. The Malaika told Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam that listen, there's not even one believer in that qawm. There's not even one believer in that whole nation, in those two cities of Qawm Lut. This was a qawm that was addicted to their desires. They were addicted to their shahawat, and because of that addiction of desires, they had ended up inventing ways and coming up with ways to fulfill their desires that were outside of even the nature, outside the norm of creation. So they had gone outside of or beyond the limits of what is even creation. And this is the nature of the nafs. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us insan, created us human beings, and has put a lot of abilities within every single human being. We have the capacity to become even better than angels when it comes to righteous a'mal. Yes, we may not have the strength to worship the way the Malaika worship, but when it comes to quality of a'mal, then yes, insan can perform such righteous deeds that can even match or go beyond what even the Malaika may be able to do as far as quality is concerned. As far as quantity of time, obviously, there are Malaika who have been in ruku and in sajda for thousands of years. We humans don't have that strength. But we have the ability to do a'mal. Even though our desire tells us not to pray, our desire tells us not to perform righteous deeds, Shaitan comes and whispers to us and tries to make us stop from committing or performing righteous deeds. And on top of that, we also have the deception of the dunya, the deception of the world, especially in this time and age that we hardly have any time for anything. To be on social media, to be on always connected. So there's never a dull moment. We're always busy with something. But with all of these distractions, a person can come and perform righteous deeds. They can pray their salah, they can do tilawat of the Quran, they can do the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They can perform other righteous a'mal. So that a'mal becomes far more valuable as far as quality is concerned. So on one side we have this capability, but also on the opposite side, we say the flip side of the coin, we also have the capacity to become very, very terrible. We have the capacity to become worse than animals. When we leave ourselves to our desires, to our shahawat, to our nafs, then we have the capacity to even become worse than animals. And this is what happened to Qawm Lut. They ended up fulfilling their shahawat, their desires. And their desires became out of control so much that they were not finding fulfillment. And because they were not finding fulfillment, this is the nature that we human beings have. This desire, this nafs. When you fulfill it and you do not control it, then it's very easy to lose taste in things. It becomes very easy to become bored with whatever we may have. It's very easy to understand. Sometimes we may taste the favorite food, our favorite food we have. First time we eat it, amazing. Second time, mashallah. Third time, slowly you end up losing flavor of it. Same is the case with other shahawat, other desires as well. That is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with this beautiful deen of Islam and has given us the sunnah of the Anbiya alayhim as-salam, the sunnah of the prophets and the messengers, the sunnah of nikah, that it controls the nafs, controls the desires. The person who is muttaqi, who is righteous and stays within the limits of nikah, so they will be protected from many amrad, many diseases of the soul, many diseases of the heart. For those who do not exercise restraint and do not exercise control and do not have taqwa, and they try to seek anything outside of what is allowed to them. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala even tells us in the Quran, فَمَنِ ابْتَغَى وَرَاءَ ذَلِكَ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْعَادُونَ. Whoever seeks anything outside of what is allowed to them, and they're looking for that, searching for that, so then they have gone beyond the limits. They'll be considered blameworthy. So Qawm Lut, they became blameworthy. They started trying to seek out the fulfillment of their shahawat in ways outside of what was allowed. When they started seeking that, point came that they ended up developing a marad, a sickness, a disease in their nafs, in their soul. And that disease led them to the major sin of becoming gay and having this homosexual act. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us the qissa in the story in the Quran as well. Sayyidina, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent to them Lut alayhi salam. And Lut alayhi salam, he told them, أَإِنَّكُمْ لَتَأْتُونَ الرِّجَالَ شَهْوَةً مِّن دُونِ النِّسَاءِ بَلْ أَنْتُمْ قَوْمٌ تَجْهَلُونَ. That you are seeking to fulfill your desires where men are going to men, other than going to the opposite gender, other than going to women to fulfill their desires. You have you're a very ignorant nation. You're a very blameworthy nation. In multiple places in the Quran, these ayat come. And Lut alayhi salam, he was sent as a Nabi to this qawm to make them understand the evil of their ways. And the reality of shahwa is that you will find, even with a Nabi like Lut alayhi salam being sent to them, and he gave them da'wah for a very long time, no one believed in Lut alayhi salam. So it means that people who go in extreme in their shahawat, go extreme in their desires, they do not try and control or do not have any fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they don't want to change, then even to bring them to hidayah becomes very difficult. So Lut alayhi salam, he was sent to Qawm Sadum. That was the name of the nation. The name of the Qawm was Qawm Sadum. And this Qawm Sadum, it had two major cities, Sadum and Ghamorah. In English, they say Sodom and Gomorrah because we in English have to twist everything, we have to change the words of everything in our language because it doesn't fit English. So now, in English, Sodom and Gomorrah, but the original word Sadum and Ghamorrah. And they were near the Black Sea in Jordan, where present-day Jordan is. So this was a qawm in a nation that was addicted to this major sin. They had gone beyond the limits of what was even considered natural. Lut alayhi salam, and he realized and he knew the evil of this qawm, he knew the evil of this nation. So he also had this beautiful character and quality of being very hospitable to guests. So Lut alayhi salam, he also used to go out and sit on the main highway and wait, and just that maybe some guest may pass, some people, some travelers may pass. And he knew the nature of his people. His people also had this nature of being bandits. They were thieves. They were also bandits, where they used to sit on the main highway, main road, and any travelers used to come by, they used to go and attack those travelers. And they also used to commit this terrible act with them as well. It was a very, very wicked and disgusting qawm and nation. So Lut alayhi salam used to sit on one part of the path, especially after the Asr Salah evening time, and he would wait for some travelers that may be traveling. And then he would try and take them to his house, entertain them so that they would not be affected. He would also provide them security so they may not be affected by the qawm, or the people may not try and take advantage of them or harm them in any way. So on this one occasion, Lut alayhi salam, he was sitting on the main highway, and these three youth came. These malaika, they came in the form of three youth, young men. So they also came in very handsome form, young men. So Lut alayhi salam, when he saw them, he became very stressed. And my qawm, if they see these youth, these young men, what my qawm in my nation will do to them. So he told the three men, he didn't know they were malaika. We have already made it very clear. The Anbiya alayhim salam, the prophets and messengers, they did not have ilm al-ghayb. They did not have knowledge of the unseen. Yes, they had that much knowledge of the unseen that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them through wahi, through revelation. But other than that, they did not have ilm al-ghayb, or knowledge of the unseen. So Lut alayhi salam, when he saw these youth, these three young men traveling, he became very stressed. And he waited, he sat them down, and he had a discussion with them, and just waiting for the sunset and for it to become dark. So when it became dark, in the dead of night, he waited till the people finished their parties and whatever they used to have. And in that darkness of the night, he took these guests home. So he brought them home, and he prepared, made preparation and arrangements. And the wife of Lut alayhi salam, she was also very wicked. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions her kufr in the Quran, her disbelief in the Quran. Towards the ending of Surat Tahrim, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, ضرب الله مثلا للذين كفروا امرأة نوح وامرأة لوط. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states for you the example of the disbelief that was done by the wife of Nuh alayhi salam, and the disbelief that was done by the wife of Lut alayhi salam. So the wife of Lut alayhi salam, she also had this disease in her nafs. She had this inclination and sympathy with that qawm, with the people of that nation. She was also affected by the environment of these people. Though she was the wife of a Nabi of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had blessed Lut alayhi salam with even daughters, yet children. But his wife still had sympathy with that qawm, with that nation. So when she found out that there are youth in our home, young, very young men, and they have come in the dead of night, and this is something that the people wish for, something the people desire. So she went on top of her house and she lit a torch. And when she lit the torch, this was a signal in that town, in that city, that there are outsiders that have come to this house. It was kind of a signal for the nation to come and to take advantage of any travelers or guests that might be passing through. The whole nation unanimously was involved in this wicked act, in these wicked acts. So when she lit this torch, she invited the whole qawm, kind of gave a signal to the nation to come. And the whole nation came rushing to the door of Lut alayhi salam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in a few places in the Quran how mad with desire this qawm and this nation was. The desires had completely overwhelmed them. In one place, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala even addresses Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, لَعَمْرُكَ إِنَّهُمْ لَفِي سَكْرَتِهِمْ يَعْمَهُونَ. That even we swear by your life, this was a nation that was, for lack of better words, drunken with their desires. They were so heavy in their desire. They were like drunk people, or people who are addicted to a kind of drug. You've ever seen drug addicts and they try and stop this drug addict from the drugs? You try to wean them off, and time comes where this drug addict, he for a long time, he doesn't get that drug. And all of a sudden, somebody has that particular drug. So how mad this drug addict becomes. They completely lose control of themselves. They even attack the person that is holding that drug. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save and protect all of us from drugs. It's a terrible thing. But that addiction, that level of addiction is so strong. When a person stays away from it for a long time, then that addiction can attack, and it can become a very, very terrible thing. So the whole qawm, they were so addicted, or in this extreme drunken state, in the state of addiction, where they came and they even tried to attack the house of Lut alayhi salam. They were ready to break down his door. And Lut alayhi salam, he came outside to try and face his qawm, tried to make them understand, what are you people doing? This mob was outside, this large, huge mob was outside trying to rush inside his house to take his guests, to take these youth and young men. Lut alayhi salam, he tried to reason with them. But you know, with a drunken person or a person who has an addiction, it's very difficult to reason, to use logic with them, or to even try and make them understand even basic concepts. Inshallah, we'll stop here and we'll continue the details of this qissa from tomorrow. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us understanding and give all of us the tawfiq to practice His deen. وَمَا عَلَيْنَا إِلَّا الْبَلَاغُ. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidil Mursaleen wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'een. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. اللهم نور قلوبنا بالقرآن وزين أخلاقنا بالقرآن ونجنا من النار بالقرآن وادخلنا في الجنة بالقرآن. اللهم اجعل القرآن لنا في الدنيا قرينا وفي القبر مونسا وعلى الصراط نورا وفي الجنة رفيقا ومن النار سترا وحجابا. اللهم إنك عفو كريم تحب العفو فاعف عنا. اللهم إنك عفو كريم تحب العفو فاعف عنا. اللهم إنك عفو كريم تحب العفو فاعف عنا. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.